Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited for today's video. I'm going to be updating you guys on whether or not my purchases from May 2023 were worth it or not. I was inspired to do this series when I saw Hope Mess Tom doing it, and I love watching their channel and just their thoughts and reflections on purchases that they made the previous year. I feel like it's always kind of fun to reflect on whether or not a purchase was worth it. Was it an impulse buy that really ended up being a bad decision? Was it something I was really excited for and thought would be a really good purchase or a really good addition to my collection and it just didn't end up working out for me? It's really fun to reflect, and I have quite a few products to talk about today. I think some of these may have been like trickle over products from like the Sephora VIB sale last year, because I'm like, either that or like maybe Ulta. I'm like, I feel like April I bought a lot last year, but we're mirroring it this year. I bought a lot in April this year and a lot in May. So anyway, I have a number of products to share with you guys today, kind of share with you my thoughts, my experiences, whether or not I was an absolute idiot when I was making some of these purchases, which there were a couple bad ones. There are a couple bad decisions. So if you're interested in hearing all of my thoughts, stay tuned. First, if you have yet to subscribe to my channel and you like project painting content, palette themed content, or just chit chatting about makeup, I'd love if you'd consider subscribing before moving on. And other than that, let's jump into the video. All right, you guys, before we get into this video, I am very excited to say that this video is in partnership with Ana Luisa. They are probably my favorite brand to work with. I absolutely love their company, love their jewelry, love their pieces. And I think I have been wearing, speaking of reflecting, I think I have been wearing their jewelry since 2020, like May of 2020. And I actually have the first necklace that I ever got from them on today. It is my mama necklace, and it is probably my most prized possession. This is what it looks like. I'm literally obsessed with it. I just absolutely love it. I am a mom, so whether or not you're a dog mom, a person, like a human mom, a turtle mom, whatever you are, it's just fun sometimes to just wear something that says mama. I know when I like first became a mom, I always loved wearing like mama shirts too. So this is probably my most prized possession. And you guys, when I first got this, I probably wore this for like 6 months straight without taking this necklace off, and it has not tarnished, it has not obviously broken. Like it's still in like pristine condition, which is one of the reasons I absolutely love the brand and continue to work with them, because they really just make such a solid quality product. I am not always decked out in jewelry, but every single day I'm typically wearing at least one jewelry item. I've really gotten into rings over the last couple years, so I have a couple of my favorites on right now. This is my newest one, and then I have the Chloe. Is this the Chloe ring, or is this like the rope ring? This is one of my favorite rings. And then I also have the snake ring right here, and then they have like a double banded snake ring, but I've had my snake ring I believe since either 2020 or 2021 as well, and it's probably like my most worn ring. It's honestly shocking I haven't lost it, because I feel like I lose everything. And again, it hasn't tarnished, it still looks absolutely beautiful. Even like the green emeralds in the eyes, like it is still in pristine condition. They don't tarnish. I've literally swam in the lake, I've literally gone in a hot tub, swam in the pool, showered, all of like, I have put my jewelry to the test. And I also am not the type of person that has her life together enough to really follow like the care instructions. Like I've never actually cleaned a piece of my Ana Luisa jewelry, and I still feel like it all looks like it's in pristine condition. So reflecting back on every piece of jewelry I have received from Ana Luisa, I don't think there is a single piece that I regret. And it's really fun kind of to look at where they were in 2020 versus where they are now. They have such an expanded range of pieces to choose from. There is definitely something for everyone on there, and I am so fortunate and so lucky that I got to work with them again. So today, as we reflect, I just wanted to reflect on some of my favorite Ana Luisa pieces and let you know that they truly do stand the test of time, and I just highly recommend anything from Ana Luisa. They are the only jewelry brand I buy, with the exception of a couple pairs of Target earrings from time to time. If I'm looking for like a seasonal earring, I'll usually just grab something from Target really quick. But aside from that, my entire jewelry collection, no joke, is all Ana Luisa. So I will leave them linked in my description box down below. They do have a 2-year warranty as well, so they stand behind their pieces. So if you're thinking about it, really what could go wrong. Thank you to Ana Luisa for working with me yet again. Now let's get into reflecting on all the products that I purchased or came into my collection last May 2023. Okay, I'm gonna start with PR. I received 2 PR products last May, and both were from Merit Beauty. I have talked about the Merit Great Skin Instant Glow Serum quite a bit on my channel. I've recommended this. I actually have really only gone through about 1/3 of this, but I really just need like 1 pump. It's not something I wear every single day, but I actually wore this today, not even like thinking that this was something I was pulling for this video. I really enjoy reaching for this. If my skin is feeling really dry and really parched, I'll put this on before I start doing my eye makeup. I typically do my eye makeup first, and it just feels like a drink of water for my face. This is typically not like the only primer I'm going in with, but if I am needing some extra hydration, I love using this product. I obviously didn't purchase this for myself, but it is something I would consider purchasing again in the future, just because I don't feel like I have anything quite like this in my makeup collection. I would say the closest thing I have is the Glow Recipe Watermelon Dew Drops that I use not as a standalone primer, but as an extra added step of hydration. But this is definitely more liquidy than that, and the best way to describe it is like a drink of water for your face. So this came into my life, and then I also did get the Bronze Balm in the shade Clay. I did use this quite a bit last summer, although this is like it flush to the packaging. I swear I did use this quite a bit. This is really beautiful because it is quite a sheer bronzer. So on days that I am maybe just doing concealer and mascara but want to add a little bit of shape to my face, maybe I'm feeling like I'm a little bit puffy, or I always just like to add a little bit of bronzer to my look, I will just go on to my direct skin, like I don't have a tinted moisturizer on, maybe I have a primer on, but I really like this for those moments. If I am doing like actual foundation or something more than even just like something more, even like a light coverage foundation, this is not really going to be what I opt for. If I'm going in with something super sheer, I'll use this, but it is more of a sheer bronzer, so bear that in mind. But for like a your skin but bronzer sort of situation, this is really beautiful. This is something I would consider purchasing when I finish this as well. This and the Makeup by Mario like skin enhancer are probably my favorite like sheer cream bronzers. I prefer this over even like the Rare Beauty bronzer stick, but this is also definitely more sheer. All right, I'm gonna touch on the 6 eyeshadow palettes that I purchased last May, and then we'll get into all other beauty. I did purchase the Moira Fun is in the Air eyeshadow palette last year. I really wanted to try Moira. They're a more affordable eyeshadow, or not just eyeshadow brand, makeup brand. And I will say I do find this palette overall to be kind of disappointing. The quality is not great. I do really like the neon yellow, the neon orange, and this cobalt blue, but I get that this is like a carnival type of palette, but I find some of the shades, I find the color stories a little discombobulated. Not necessarily the bright pops of color, but more so like this shade in the Air seems to be more cool tone, and a lot of the colorful shades are more warm tone. So I just, that selection I was a little bit thrown off by, as well as the shade Memorable, or this gray shade right here. Like there's just a couple other shades in this palette I probably would have swapped out. I am currently in the process of trying to complete this palette, No Pan Left Behind, and truthfully, I don't know that I'll keep this palette beyond my next palette declutter. So I think I likely could have skipped this, especially because I do have some neon yellows now in my eyeshadow palette collection that I can use, that I like the palette more than I like this one. So I have dupes to this shade, and this is the shade I love in this palette the most. I actually have the Blend Bunny Surge eyeshadow palette on today, and there's a really beautiful yellow neon in that palette. Then I also purchased the Oden's Eye Stone and Rock collection. So we have the Jewels and Gem eyeshadow palette, as well as the Stone and Rock palette. I am really happy to have both of these in my collection. I do really love the Oden's Eye brand, and for the most part, I like their eyeshadows. I feel like their eyeshadow palettes, like their quality hasn't been as good the last couple of releases. Like I feel like there's definitely some issues with some of their matte shadows. I really typically always love all of their like special shades, but there's definitely something to be desired with some of their matte shades. And I've definitely been finding that more and more lately, but I still really love the brand, and I love their color stories. I love their attention to detail with packaging, so I will continue to buy and support, but there's definitely some quality issues with some of the mattes It's usually like 1 or 2 in every palette. Okay, I did purchase 2 Natasha Denona eyeshadow palettes last May. So we have the Natasha Denona Yucca palette, which was one of my top ranking palettes last year. I absolutely love this eyeshadow palette. It is beautiful. It is like a grungy safari green lover's dream. I wish she would honestly make an expanded version of a green eyeshadow palette and do even more greens, because there are still a lot of just like warm grungy, like warm browns, and like I would love even more green from her. But I absolutely love this eyeshadow palette. It is one of my favorite Natasha Denona palettes, so that was a good purchase. This was also a great purchase. It's the Natasha Denona Glam eyeshadow palette. And what I will say is when I purchased this last year and tested it out, I liked it, but I wouldn't say it was my favorite. And then it got rolled into my No Pan Left Behind series this year. And No Pan Left Behinding it a second time around, I really found a newfound appreciation for this eyeshadow palette. And it has quickly grown in my rankings of like my favorite palettes and my favorite Natasha Denona palettes. I think it is absolutely beautiful and I love all of the shades in here. Great quality, and I feel like this was a great purchase as well. And then the final eyeshadow palette I brought in was the Scooby-Doo palette, Scooby-Doo 2 palette from Glamlite. I will say this is not my favorite Glamlite palette of all time. It's also very large, and I feel like there's a lot of like I feel like we could have like we definitely could have made this smaller. I love the packaging though, like come on. And also Scooby-Doo is an incredibly nostalgic show for me. Like Scooby-Doo is literally my childhood. I don't know if I've told this story, but my family and I every single year took a road trip over spring break from Minnesota down to Jekyll Island, Georgia. I would love to go back to Jekyll Island and see how it's changed. But we had like, I'm gonna put this down for the story. We had like a TV in our car, but this was like I'm 33. Like we didn't have like cars with the technology that like they were like built into the car. We're talking like a thick brick with a VHS player, I swear, like in it. And Scooby-Doo 1, the first like actual like actors movie, I think Freddie Prinze Jr. was Fred, if I'm remembering correctly. I kid you not. And Hannah, if you're watching, or Shayla, if you're watching, tell Hannah that she needs to watch this and confirm this story is accurate. We would literally watch that. We would drive like 12 hours a day. We probably watched that movie 3 times within like 1 day of driving. I don't know how my parents survived. Like as a parent now, and just like the things that like get under your skin, I do not know how my parents listened to that movie 3 times over, multiple days in a row. And then there was this hilarious part in the movie where Fred was like whipping this chain around and Scrappy-Doo like came in and like, it was just, I thought that scene was so hilarious. So I would rewind it at least 12 times and like just rewatch that and rewatch that and rewatch that. So Scooby-Doo is literally my childhood. That is one of the most watched movies in our household of youth. So for that reason, I'm so happy to have this. I don't reach for this palette that frequently. And I will say like the red shadow, not the best. Like it definitely took a lot of building, but there's some shades in here too that I really love as a nail polish. So I would say I'm still happy with my purchase. If this never released or if I like missed out on this, I don't think I would still be thinking about it to this day. But again, for nostalgic purposes, I love having this. Okay, so then we can get into all the other beauty products, and we can talk about these products first because these I also purchased with the Scooby-Doo collection. So I have the blush duo, the Daphne and Velma blush duo. Again, packaging absolutely killed it. I will say, admittedly, I have not reached for this much at all. I feel like I've maybe reached for this duo 5 times in the last year, and that kind of makes me sad because this was like the trendy blush last year. Like this would have been the perfect opportunity. I think this shade is so unique and just so fun, but also both of these blushes are so pigmented. You have to be really careful with it. Now I have definitely been opting for a more like coral or nude blush similar to the blush that I have on today, but summertime is the time that I like to look like I got burnt without actually looking burnt. So I need to pull this in my next Shop My Stash, hold me to it. And we need to get at least 5 uses like in the month of June out of this blush duo. So I'm not mad that I purchased this. I don't think I needed this. I mean, obviously I didn't need anything, Would I miss this if I didn't have it in my collection? No. But I also like, it's fun to look at, and again, nostalgia. And then I also purchased the Daphne lipstick and lip gloss duo, and this was probably the best of the 3 purchases. I absolutely love this gloss. It is such a fun pink sparkly gloss. It is just, I love this gloss. One of my favorite non-plumping glosses in my collection. Like, we know I love Lawless Forget the Filler. We know I love the Buxom glosses. We know I love Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb, but like in terms of like outside of those core lip glosses that I own multiple shades of, this is my favorite gloss. It is so fun. I haven't gone onto the Glamlite website recently to see if this is still available, and I think you had to buy this as a duo, so I don't necessarily know that I would want to buy it as a duo again, but if I could get just this gloss, I definitely would purchase again. I am interested in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air collection. But I also I definitely don't need that, but I'm definitely interested. Let me know what your thoughts are on the Fresh Prince collection. And then we have the Daphne lipstick, which is definitely more pink than I typically go for. And I think I've maybe reached for this 3 to 5 times. Like, I definitely don't need this. Maybe I'll end up just giving this one to my daughter because I feel like how fun is this for her. But again, I believe you had to buy this as a duo, and for me it's worth it because I love the gloss so much. There are 2 products that I purchased last year that are already empties. One being the Iconic London Super Smoother Tinted like hydrating moisturizer. Definitely worth it. One of my favorite tinted moisturizers I've used like ever. I almost purchased it again during this past Sephora VIB sale, but I decided to hold off because there were other foundations I wanted to try, but I've recommended that product, and that was definitely worth it for me. And then the other product I've already finished up is the, oh my gosh, what is the name of the brand? I can see it. Oh, the Youthforia pregame spray. I use that up because it's not hard for me to use up a spray, but that was a complete waste of $36. Would not repurchase, wouldn't recommend. It was literally just a spray, and I wasn't super impressed with the actual like sprayer component either. So save your $36. Like, I know $36 doesn't get you a lot this day and age, but just save it for, you know, save it. Save it for your curse jar, your curse word jar. Does anyone do those? Do you remember that? Like, do you remember that growing up? There were parents that actually would literally put like $1 in a jar for every, like, I would be, well, first of all, I'd be broke from paying myself for my curse words, but also like I would be so rich. I would have so much money saved. I would probably spend hundreds of dollars a day in the curse words jar. Let's talk about the other 3 foundation slash tinted moisturizers I bought in May. Like, clearly something was happening last May. I wanted to try all the foundations. I had Ulta points to spend. I definitely had Ulta points to spend because I believe I got both of these during like when I used my Ulta points. So I have the Lancome Teint Idole Ultra Wear Care Glow. I didn't spend any money on this because I used my Ulta points, and girl math says that it was free. But if I did spend my money on this, definitely worth it. This is really nice because it kind of like looks like healthy skin. It's not so mattifying, like it's not mattifying, but it literally lasts all day. So if I need, like, this is probably my longest wearing foundation. It is so beautiful, and I do really love this. So this was definitely worth using my Ulta points on. And then I also picked up another Forever Skin Glow from Dior. I love Dior's foundations. I know that they reformulated, but I still really enjoy this one. I've been using this actually quite a bit lately, and this was definitely worth using points on. Okay, my sister gave this to me, I believe. I don't believe I used point. I don't think I purchased this. It's the NARS Pure Radiant Tinted Moisturizer in the shade Light Zero. My sister, oh Hannah, if you're watching this to comment about the Scooby-Doo, please don't take offense to this. You would admit the same, I feel. And this is not me taking like a shot at you, but my sister is probably the palest person I've personally met in real life. To the point where and I believe I've told her this, there's a picture of us on vacation like 2 years ago, and she's wearing shorts, and I remember like looking back at that picture and like literally like my eyes bulging out of my head looking at my sister's legs, because I was like, wow, like I knew my sister was very fair complected, but like I mean, wow. Hannah, I love you so much. And it makes so much sense that when we were in Jekyll Island, my sister, like, she will relax with the best of us on the beach, but she will be under an umbrella. She will be under 17 towels. Literally, like, no part of her skin is peeking through to the sun. And I used to think she was the weirdest person ever to roam the earth for that, but it makes sense now, Hannah. So all that to say, this is way too light for me and I just don't love this. This is currently going in my chopping block, which I'll leave linked down below, and I'm gonna see if I can use this as a mixer, but I also just feel like this is a little bit thick and it's just not the most flattering. So this doesn't, I don't necessarily know that this has a place in my collection. And again, I may have bought this for my sister. Like I may have given her $5 for like a very large bag of makeup, or she may have just given this to me. Regardless, you know, it may have been better suited to someone else. I did bring in one primer, the Iconic London Underglow Blurring Primer. I do really like this. I wouldn't say it's my favorite primer of all time, but it does offer this really beautiful blur to the skin with like a hint of a glow. I don't necessarily know that it offers the most amount of tack, and I am someone who, right now, what I'm looking for in a primer is that it is first and foremost tacky and gonna help my makeup last longer. I just have the most dry, parched, dehydrated skin because I can't seem to give up the energy drinks and can't seem to drink enough water. So also hydration is important to me, and a little bit of pore filling. So this wouldn't be my like tippity top #1 primer, but I love to test and try new primers, so I'm glad that this is in my life. I'll get this one out of the way because we know this was worth the purchase. It's the Lawless Forget the Filler lip gloss in Juicy Watermelon. This is such a fun shade for the summer. It's like a bright pink, but it's like a sheer bright pink. It really is like a watermelon pink kind of shade, and I freaking love it, especially for just like a fun sheer, just like juicy pop of something on the lips. I'm thinking of like a sexual ad of like someone like eating a strawberry, like maybe we're promoting something with strawberries and like the girl is like about to take a bite of the strawberry and like she just has like the poutiest, juiciest lips, and this is the lip gloss she's wearing. Maybe I should work in marketing and like, I'm kidding. Okay, I bought this last year. I love NARS as a brand and I just like kind of wanted to try more NARS stuff. I believe it's either $31 or $33. It is the Afterglow Sensual Shine Lipstick in the shade Breathless. It is a really beautiful nude shade, but like this is not worth $33. Again, save your $33, save them. Again, I mean, honestly, if I saved my $33 from this and my $36 from my spray, I still wouldn't have enough curse word money to get me through a day if I'm paying myself even $1. So save your money so that you can swear more. All right, next up I purchased the Saie Sun Glow Glowy Super Sun Gel. Super Sun Gel. Sunny Sun Gel. What? I'm actually like, where did that come from? Okay, I'm cracking myself up. If you're not laughing, then I'm sorry that you're not having a good day. I am. Where did that come from? Okay, this was a risk when I purchased this. Like, this was me knowing I could potentially be making a bad decision, but I still made it anyway, which is typically how I run my life. I will say, when I was in college, I had one of my roommates, we had been best friends since 6th grade, and if I had a decision I felt like might not be the best decision, when she got home, I would literally be like, hey, do you think we should do this? And if she said yes, because she was absolutely the more responsible person, then like I would know it was a fine decision to make. But if she said no, then I was like, okay, like we know this isn't a good decision. She was the one who took me to get my dermal piercings in my back, so like I guess that was a good decision. Anyway, I knew this. I should have texted her. I should have said, hey, should I pick this up? Anyway, I was not a fan of the first time I tried this product, but I tried a different shade, and I love this for days that I'm not planning to wear foundation and I've self-tanned and my face is like 17 shades lighter than my body. It works so beautifully for that. It offers a really beautiful bronzy glow, and it's absolutely something I would consider purchasing again when I finish. I prefer this to the Drunk Elephant Debronzy Drops personally. So for me, this was worth it, and I do, maybe I should have held off another like little bit because I do still have the Drunk Elephant Debronzy Drops and I had them in my collection, so I could have held off because now I have both, but I prefer this one over it, and I'm glad that I know that. Okay, a couple Fenty products absolutely worth the purchase to me. I have the Fenty Fly Liner in the shade In Big Truffle, which is a brown. I have been loving this, especially lately. I used it some last year, but I have been really reaching for this lately. And I like this because I'll do like a little wing for work. And because it's like a dark brown rather than a black, it's not as stark. And I definitely feel more comfortable wearing this into the office. So I've been a huge fan of this. This is something when this dries out, I will instantly go repurchase. That was a really lame snap. And then I have the Fenty Poutsicle in Zesty Bestie. I wasn't sure I should purchase this last year because I already had the Sangria shade. And I was like, are these too similar? Like, do I really need them both? Zesty Bestie is this really beautiful, like bright orange shade. And I have been wearing this so much the last couple of weeks and absolutely living for it. I have worn this a lot. I've gone to Topgolf like 2 times in the last couple weeks, and I've worn it every single time to Topgolf, and I love it, especially with like a neutral. I've been wearing this with like a neutral eye look, and then I purchased one of the viral like Halara dresses in black, and just like the like neutral colors with a pop of orange on the lips. I am here for it. So I'm so happy to have this in my collection. I actually prefer this shade to Strawberry Sangria, which is more of like a red, especially for the summertime when I do find myself reaching for a stain more. So if I finish this, I absolutely would repurchase it. That was worth it for me. Okay, if you asked me if this purchase was worth it like 3 months ago, I probably would have said no. This is the KVD Dazzle Stick in Hail Surge, but I rolled this into a project and gave myself a usage goal with this, and I really fell in love with this product. There it is swatched right there. It's this really beautiful champagne shade, but it has like pink and blue glitter slash sparkle running throughout it, and I just think it's so pretty. I like to use it as a base, especially if I'm going in with a more neutral look. I'll use it as a base on the inner third of my eyelid, and I really love it for that. I almost went on and purchased more shades, and then I was like, okay, the other shades are a little bit deeper. I feel like this works for me because I mostly use it as a base or like on the inner part of my eye, and if I had a darker shade, I don't know I would get a ton of use out of it. But I really enjoy having this in my collection. I feel like it adds a little bit of something, a little bit of pizzazz to some of my looks, and for me, because it's like not a natural reach, I don't necessarily know it was the absolute best decision, but I'm still happy to have this in my life. I don't know for certain I would repurchase this if it went missing. And I only say that because, again, it's like when I'm using this frequently and it's like sitting right in front of me, like I enjoy using it and reaching for it, but I also don't think it's necessarily something I would miss. And then I'm sitting here being like, but I have been reaching for more neutral looks lately. If this is like your aesthetic, like I think you'd really love this, but if you don't reach for a cream or liquid like eyeshadow that frequently, then like absolutely skip. Okay, one of the best purchases I made last May was my Laura Mercier blush in the shade Fresco. This is my favorite. I think this is my current favorite blush of all time. We know I had a love affair with the Buxom Seychelles blush for so long. This is such a beautiful, just like nude terracotta, warm nude blush that works with everything, and it's so flattering and I love it so much. You'll potentially see there's a bit of like micro glitter flecks running throughout, but I never notice like glitter at all on my cheeks, and it offers just like the slightest sheen. Like it's obviously not a totally matte blush, so if you are all about the matte, like this is not going to be for you, but I personally like to have something that's just a little bit glowier on the cheeks. And like I will put this away. I'll do my Shop My Stash. This won't be in my current rotation, and it's like 2 days in and I'm reaching for this because I just cannot get enough. I reach for this blush at least 2 times a week, so this was 100% worth the purchase. You know what, this I believe is in the 30s, and this is worth either stealing from my curse word jar to buy this, or it's worth saying less swear words for a few days to be able to afford this. So this is worth it. And then the final 3 products are all powders. Clearly I was thinking I needed a lot of powders this time last year. I have the Bare Minerals Bare Pro 16 Hour Skin Perfecting Powder Foundation. I actually just use this as like a setting powder, and I really like this. I feel like this smooths the skin and just looks so beautiful. I had a little trial size of this and I loved it, and that's why I went on to buy this. So it wasn't that risky of a decision. I knew I really enjoyed the powder, and I'm very happy to have this in my collection. This is a powder I could see myself having at all times. I think it's a fantastic pressed powder. this ranks up there with my Kosas Cloud Set. They're very different. Like, this is definitely going to give more coverage and be a little bit heavier than the baked product that is the Kosas powder, but nevertheless, I really enjoy having this in my collection and would highly recommend. Then I also brought in the Lawless Skin Smoothing Powder in the shade Light. I will say I like this, but I definitely wouldn't purchase this again. And honestly, my collection or like my makeup journey wouldn't have been missing anything like if I didn't ever own this powder. It's actually a little bit, like it is a little bit heavier than I personally prefer. Yeah, I wouldn't repurchase personally is what I'm getting at. And then finally, I picked up the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Trio. Love this so much. I use this at probably just about every single time I do my makeup as a finishing powder. I had a full size of, I think, Radiant Light, and I had that product for probably 5 years and really went hot and cold with it. But I feel like as I've aged, my skin needs this. I like love to finish my makeup look with this, and I felt that way for about a year and a couple months, because I remember like I was really into the powder and then I was almost out of that powder, and I was like, I'm gonna get the Trio because I want to try like different shades. So I'm very glad that I purchased this. I believe I used my Ulta points to get this, so again, like, girl math says I didn't necessarily spend my money on it, but I will always have an Hourglass powder in my life because I think it truly, I haven't found a powder quite like the Hourglass that does what I'm looking for or does what this does. So absolutely worth the purchase for me. That was a lot. We've been filming for a while. That was a lot. But those are all of my reflections and thoughts on the good decisions and the bad decisions that I made with my makeup spending last May. I would love to know, as you reflect on your purchases from last May, did you make good decisions or bad decisions? Let a girl know in the comments below. Other than that, thank you guys so much for sticking around to watch today's video and for supporting me and my channel, as you guys always do. I love you guys so much, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.